Library Kitchen. My name is Katie. I'm a reference librarian at the Worcester branch of the Wayne County Public Library, and today I am here to show you how to make an apple sauerkraut slaw. Now, this recipe doesn't use too many ingredients, nor is it particularly difficult. We're going to need our slaw. Now, I got mine from a can. My dad will only eat the fresh stuff. So however you want to get it, you're going to want to start with about 2.5 cups. And then our first step is we're actually going to squeeze it. And that 2.5 cups will be good for about 2 people. So this recipe serves 2. We are also going to use a teaspoon or more, depending on your likes, of caraway seeds, salt and pepper to taste, about a teaspoon of dried dill or a tablespoon of fresh if you've got it. We're going to need a little splash of olive oil, a pinch of ground cloves, and then half of an apple that we're going to cut into matchstick sizes. So step 1 is we're actually going to put our sauerkraut, and again this is pre-made, in a strainer over a bowl. And you can either use a spoon to press it down to get rid of the liquid, or what I like to do is I have this kind of cheesecloth material bag. I'm going to put it in there. And this is admittedly somewhat messy. And we are just going to squeeze out the liquid. And you can throw away the liquid unless you are one of the people who wants to drink it when we are done squeezing. All right, and then I'm actually going to put this back into the strainer now that I've done squeezing it. And I'm going to let it sit for another 5 minutes and just keep on draining. And like I said, you're going to start with about 2.5 cups, and it's going to shrink that down to about half that size. So I will be back in about 5 minutes. See you then. All right, so I am back. My sauerkraut has finished draining, so I'm going to go ahead and drop that into a bowl. And while I was waiting for that to drain, I went ahead and cut my apple into little matchstick slices. Now, when it comes to doing your apple, again, half an apple for about 2 people's worth, you can leave the skin on. I prefer something like a Gala or a Red Delicious for the sweetness, but I'm also a big fan of use whatever you have on hand. So this was a Gala. I'm going to go ahead and throw that in. And now we are going to put in all of our other ingredients. So we're going to do a little pinch of cloves. We're going to do a teaspoon of dried dill, and I just like to kind of eyeball it in my palm. Something like this, it's not quite as important as it would be in baking. And then my original recipe called for a teaspoon of caraway, but if you like the taste of caraway, I'd say use all the way up to a tablespoon. And again, I'm just going to eyeball it. And now we're going to throw in a tablespoon of olive oil. And here we go. We're going to mix this up, and then it's pretty much ready to go. Now, I like to serve this alongside pork chops. There is a heated debate amongst sauerkraut lovers if sauerkraut should be served cold, which has the most nutrients, or if it should be served warm. I like to do a quick warm in a skillet, usually the skillet that maybe I'm cooking those pork chops in. But how you serve this, warm or cold, is up to you. What's really nice, I'm going to go ahead and stir, is that the acidity from the sauerkraut will actually keep the apples looking fresh for several days. So you don't have to worry about them turning brown. And you could actually make this a couple of days ahead of when you planned on serving it. Or if you wanted to make extra for leftovers. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on the skillet for a quick heat. Thank you for joining me. If this sounds good, stop by the Worcester Adult Department to see if we have any Spice It Up kits. January 2023, our Spice of the Month is caraway. And so we would love for you to grab one of those and join us for our Spice It Up meeting. All right, let's heat these up. All right, so I'm here. I've got my sauerkraut slaw in the skillet. I'm gonna go ahead and add my salt and pepper at this point. About a half a teaspoon each. And just give it enough time that it gets warm. It doesn't have to be hot because you don't want those apples to get mushy. But if you want to have it cold, like I said, just add the salt and pepper when you add all the other ingredients and enjoy. Wish you could smell it. It smells really good. All right. Thanks again for joining me for this week's Library Kitchen.